Today on the bench I want to tie you up the Pink Panther. The key to this fly is really its translucency. When I look at emerging nymphs, they really do look translucent in the water, and that's what the Pink Panther imitates. Make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. For the hook, we'll use a size 12 2x long nymph hook, some 8/0 olive thread to tie with, a 7/64 inch gold bead for the bead, some Caddis green Goose Biots for the tail, some salmon pink Lite-Brite for the body, some small copper wire for the rib, some golden olive Grizzly Hackle for the collar, and some Caddis green Goose Biots for the wing. To start the fly off, I've tied my thread on, and I'm going to move my thread right to the back of the hook. So move it right to your hook bend and leave it there. Now what I'm going to do is take just a pinch of this pink Lite-Brite, a very, very small amount, because I just want to form a small bud on the fly that's going to help those Goose Biots stay on either side of the fly. So again, just a small bud on the fly. A little bit of Lite-Brite there. And take about 2 or 3 wraps just to form that small little butt on the fly. Now I've taken 2 of my longer Goose Biots, and I like the bigger, wider Goose Biots, and make sure you put them face to face so that they splay out. You can see the tips just splay out. And then I'm going to lay them on the hook, make them about 1/4 inch long, just extend past the hook shank a little bit or hook bend, and then tie them in and make sure you have a tail formed that splays out on both sides. Next step is take some small copper wire, and I just tie it in right on the body and make it even, and wind back to where you tied in the tail, just above the butt and the start of the tail, and we'll leave that off the back to rib up a little bit later. Now we're going to dub in the body, and probably the easiest way is just to wrap it right onto your thread. You can form a dubbing loop, but I find forming a dubbing loop just adds a little bulk to the fly. So again, this Lite-Brite winds pretty easy, so I'm just going to wind it onto my thread. Again, just keep put pressure and roll it in one direction. Don't roll back and forth, but always when you dub onto your thread, just continue to roll in one direction and it'll spin right on there nicely. Once we've got it spun onto our thread, and we've got a nice little body built, we're going to wrap it forward to form the body. Now the body's tied in, I'm going to take my rib, my gold wire that was at the back, and just rib up the fly. Again, 4 or 5 ribs up the fly is plenty. And tie off right behind your bead. Now the body's tied in, I've taken a small green hackle, and it's a saddle hackle. I'm going to tie it right behind the bead, a few wraps, cut off my excess stem, then take some hackle pliers, and I only want a couple wraps. I'm going to take 1 wrap, 2 wraps. I want to keep this fairly thin and tie it off. Now that I have the hackle tied in, I'm going to again take 2 more Goose Biots, and we're going to create a wing. And what I like to do is work one at a time, just lay one, and at a slight angle, so you want to almost have it at the same angle as your tail. You can see the tail's at a slight angle at the back, and make sure the wing is almost as long as the body. So just take a couple wraps, slide in, tight in nice and loose on the top on that angle, and again match another wing, the second Goose Biots on the top, same kind of angle as the tail, a couple of turns, and then tighten up and take a few wraps. Cut off your excess on the front, and then what we'll do is take our whip finisher and finish off the fly. And I usually take about 3 or 4 whips at the front. So there it is, the finished Pink Panther. You know, I've tied this pattern with different color Goose Biots, you know, the blacks and the browns, but this combination of green with the pink really gives it that translucent look that makes it so effective. To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca, and if you would like to book an adventure like this one shown, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.